Wow, wow, wow. Y'all showed up in YouTube. I see you, Dr. Antoinette, showing up here in YouTube. Let's see, I have Marion Jackson, Regina Shorts, Deborah Johnson, Rodessa. Good morning. She says, grand rising to you, beautiful, and everyone's on. I see Shardini. Shardini is in here on YouTube. Y'all rock. I see Adrian in here. So, Dr. Antoinette, I'm so proud of you. Kenny Stanley, what's up? He's in here on YouTube. And all right, Dr. Annette, get over there on YouTube, youtube.com/Gail Dudley. Make sure y'all all subscribe. Make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. And I see Yvonne Gardner. Good morning to all of you. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. And Isaiah's trying to pop in here like that. Look at that. So anyway, I'm so glad to see all of you all this morning. We have a lot of news, but I'm also going to get to the Wednesday workshop. How about that? But we have a lot of news. The books, I think we're finally seeing where they're getting ready to ship them to me. So then we can then ship them out to all of you. And I did hear from you, Dr. Antoinette and Marion Jackson. Good morning, Latrice Jones. Good morning to you. Yeah, I'm so excited. If you're wondering, I'm just so excited. This is we had one full week of Ash Wednesday to Lent. So we're 1 week into Lent. Things are going well. I'm digging deep. I'm seeking God for everything. Kenny says he'll be on Saturday at 6:30 for Game Over. And his wife, Kelly, is now at home doing well. So y'all continuously pray for them. And y'all make sure y'all connect with Kenny Stanley for Game Over on Saturday. But yeah, just a lot of great things are happening. And I really want to start News in Motion that way today, not to mess anybody up. We're going to change the flow just a little bit, but God is doing some amazing things. But what I keep hearing is that through those amazing things, we have to make ourselves available, which means at times we have to get uncomfortable. I see Dr. Kim Carter coming in here. Great morning to you. Kim's probably wondering, why isn't anybody in here on Facebook? Kim, if you want to, go to www.youtube.com/Gail Dudley. Post that up for me on the actual banner, Isaiah, and then come on over there to the YouTube club. And the reason why we're saying this, Meta has been very clear with social justice, politics, and news. They're going to start suppressing us. They're going to start kind of like making us disappear. So we're trying to roll everybody over there to YouTube. But you can stay there today, but it's up to you. So good to see you, sister. But anyway, listen, God wants us to avail ourselves to him, period. I'm going to get to the news in a moment. We have to, when we hear, we have to respond. And there may be times that it gets uncomfortable for us. And we may even be somewhat intimidated or fearful about what some people may have to say. And I'm going to get to that really in the inspirational message. So don't leave before you get to the inspirational message, okay? But it's time for us to be free in him. Okay, we're supposed to be free anyway, but for some reason we keep holding on, and we keep allowing ourselves to be in the prison walls. But God is saying, be free, be free. I see my brother coming up in here. Kim says, thanks. I'm just so glad to be back. I jumped in where I could. I'm glad you did too. I'm excited about it. I just didn't want you to be lonely over there on Facebook because you probably don't have anybody else in there with you. But hey, I just wanted you to know. So you're wondering, where's everybody at in Facebook land? That's why, look, I'm just so happy to see your name pop up. I was like, yes. All right, Dr. Antoinette says, well, you only said we'll look on Facebook and News in Motion won't be there. Yeah, it's kind of like what's really happening. Good morning, Kim Edmondson. Okay, y'all, so it's Wednesday workshop. Here's the rundown before we get there. Today is Wednesday, February the 21st, 2024. I am your host, Gail Dudley. Thank you all for hanging out with me. So here's this. Let's start here. Nikki Haley. She's playing the long game, y'all. And if I can say this, she's playing it pretty well. All right. She's like, I ain't going nowhere, even if I lose on Saturday. So if you live in the state of South Carolina, your primary vote for the Republican Party is this coming Saturday. Early voting has already begun this week. I think you go till Thursday, and then the elections will begin on Saturday. Yes, it's Saturday, February the 23rd. So remember, Dems, you voted earlier this month. I don't know why they split these things up. You voted earlier this month in South Carolina, but right now, Saturday, Republicans, you vote. She's saying, I don't care if I lose on Saturday. I ain't going nowhere. Nikki's like, but you know what? She's playing a long game. She's probably saying, you can't get indicted. You getting ready to get this, that, and the other. I'm not going anywhere. Because truly what will happen, if he even got all of the delegates, y'all, he didn't get all of them so far. He has 35, she has 17. If he keeps getting all these delegates, what would happen is they would have what you call an open conference or open convention. Now the Koch brothers are behind her. She would get on that ticket. I just want y'all to know this. So that's how all of this is unfolding. So I see you, Dr. Kim Carter. Stephanie Burbridge Hall, jump over there to YouTube. Put that YouTube back up there, Isaiah. Hey, girl, I hope you feeling better. So listen. That's what's happening with the Republicans. And she's like, I ain't going nowhere. And then she says, and I quote, I feel no need to kiss the ring. She's talking about a Donald Trump. I said, oh, Nikki done gotten like, what? So that's what's happening. Now, I don't understand this, but why isn't this front page, people? Why isn't this front page? Ex-FBI informant. Now, I've seen this. And I should have reported it yesterday, but I didn't. Charged with lying about Biden and Russian intel contacts. Prosecutor says the former FBI informant charged with making up bribery schemes, involving President Joe Biden, his son Hunter Biden, and the Ukrainian energy company had contacts with Russian intelligence affiliated officials. Now, I'm trying to understand, like, why isn't this all over front page? What's up, Mike Nicholson? Y'all rolling up in here today. Mike, come on over to YouTube where everybody else is hanging out. Meanwhile, Hunter Biden said the informant lies has infected his persecution. So listen, why isn't this front page news like all day, every day? So as much as y'all were saying that they were into this and this was happening, this, that, and the other, y'all, it wasn't true. It was all made up. Put a pin in it. That's how people make up stuff about us every day. And people will run with the made up stuff. But as soon as you get a little hint of truth, what's up, Pastor Alex Williams in here on YouTube? I love it. Why don't we go back and reverse all of that? Like, this isn't true. So as much as I was out here professing that it was true and putting this out here, why am I not coming back saying, okay, y'all, this wasn't true? I lied. And I carried a story that wasn't right. Y'all, we got to do better with that. So this should be front page news, but I guess it's going to leave it all up to us. Y'all, the Supreme Court justices, what? I am tripping off of this. Y'all, the Supreme Court justices was like, they just wasn't feeling it yesterday. They're like, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that either. And we're not doing that. Let me tell you what they're not doing. The Supreme Court declined to hear a challenge to admission rules at a Virginia school, allowing a policy aimed at diversifying the student body. So the decision suggested that most justices are not eager to explore the limits of their June ruling that struck down race-conscious admissions programs at Harvard and the University of North Carolina. So AP had to do a good piece in here, and I love this as well. So Associated Press said, stop. Y'all, Mike Nicholson, y'all know he's in an island all by himself. He ain't come to YouTube. He went to LinkedIn. Okay, Mike Nicholson. Hey, MK Walker, come on over to YouTube. Come on over to YouTube. So the Supreme Court yesterday declined to review a case challenging the use of social economic factors in the admissions criteria at a prestigious Northern Virginia high school. Now, a group of parents claim that the policy discriminates against Asian Americans. The name of the school is Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology in Alexandria, Virginia. They're often named among the best U.S. high schools. They overhauled their admissions policy in 2020 to increase diversity without explicitly considering race. I don't know how you do that, but anyway. So the changes included nixing the entrance exams and prioritizing the top 1.5% of the 8th grade class. So under this new system, y'all, the freshman class of 2021 included 54% Asian American students. That was down from 73%, which started all of this. 7% Black students, up from about 1%, and 11% Hispanic students, up from about 3%. Well, the Asian American students and their parents didn't like it. And we understand that because you at one point had 73% of the school. So the Supreme Court decision leaves in place the appeals court ruling that found that the new policy didn't show a racially desperate effect on Asian American students. Okay, all right. Y'all doing y'all's job. After y'all had y'all's arguments and the opinions and everything, well, then they was just like, this is going to be the day of no's. So they rejected an appeal from the group of Trump ally attorneys. What? I was like, I'm misreading this. Let me read this again. I see you, Stephanie. So I was like, okay. So y'all, the NBC News report that Supreme Court on Tuesday rejected appeals brought by Trump ally lawyers who face legal sanctions for baseless, allegedly in court, that the 2020 election in Michigan was fraudulent and that it was really won by President Trump, former President Trump. Did I call him president? And so they were just like, no, we're not listening to this either. They're like, nope, next. I was like, what? And I said, okay. At this point, I started going, what's happening here? Why are y'all saying no to all these things? Then they said no again. The Supreme Court on yesterday also declined to hear challenges to the New York rent stabilization laws, which imposes strict rules on how landlords can lease some units in the Empire State. I said, what is really going on here with the Supreme Court? But that wasn't all, y'all. They said, might as well make it, an entire day of no's. So they declined to consider whether potential jurors in an employment dispute involving a lesbian worker could be excluded because of their religious views on homosexuality. I was like, this is like all the way. They just went straight. No, they had a docket of no's yesterday. Now, I don't know this to be true. I don't know. But I said, they got to hear a case soon about delaying Buttercup's hearing. So are they putting all these no's out here that's in favor for most of the majority of Americans? So when they come out and favor him, we ain't too mad. Listen, we're going to still be mad. Okay. And while I'm mad at Justice Clarence Thomas, who ruled and gave questions and his opinions on the rent piece in New York, what you doing with all that money you getting, all them free trips and stuff you got? I just want to know. I'm just asking to be asking. Yes, Kim Carter, but what? I was like, so let me tell y'all about homie with the rent. Now, conservative Justice Clarence Thomas said the High Court should consider the questions that were raised in this appeal in a future case. So you said no, but then you pulled back. So did you call up Jenny and say, Jenny, I did this. Was I right? And Jenny said, oh, babe, you might need to change that. So why don't you put in there something about future courts so we could raise the questions again after we take care of Donnie? Y'all making all this up. Okay, I made all that last part up. That's my own stuff. I just wanted to have fun with it. But it's just strange that he slipped this in here. So who in New York were you on the yacht with, Clarence? What about that log cabin, Clarence? What about that jet ride, Clarence? What about that schooling pay for your nephew, Clarence? Do they live in New York in the Empire State Building? I'm just asking for a friend. Y'all, New York Times reports. Y'all think I'm crazy, right? New York Times reports, where else do you get news like this? And it's factual, except for that last part there about Clarence and Jenny. I made that up. Officials believe that the Russians may have captured hundreds of Ukrainian soldiers who disappeared after Russian forces took the eastern city of Adika. So all of that's happening. So let's pray for the soldiers that they are alive. Latrice Jones, what you saying? She said, what about that jet ride clearance? Listen, he did do that. Everything I named, he did do. The cabin, the yacht, the nephew in school, and the jet ride. He did that. Now, I'm saying, I don't know if he really called Jenny and say, Jenny, should I do this? I don't know that part. But he did do all the rest of it, okay? All right, y'all, using his theme song. Y'all remember that song? I used to love The Apprentice. I can't even deny it. But y'all know the theme song that came out when Apprentice came out? Money, 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 money. Y'all know that, right? Money. Y'all listen, President Joe Biden. Y'all can talk about him if you want to, okay? His re-election campaign ended talking about financials for January. Y'all, with $56 million. What? On hand, liquid cash, y'all. He is growing his fundraising advantage over the former guy. Y'all, the former guy only had 30 million. Okay? Joe Biden has never had this much money. That should tell you something. But we still got to get out. We still got to vote. We still got to do our due diligence and all that stuff, y'all. His campaign raised $56 million. Okay? And woman, okay. I was like, okay, y'all need to stop sending me them emails. And if y'all got that kind of cash on hand, talk about this is the final hour to send in your $5. You don't need my $5 because you got 56 million. And I know you can start it all over again come March 1st. Next, we're going to get all these emails the rest of this week and early next week because they got to hit their fundraising campaign for February. But then I started thinking, yeah, I'm just having fun today. We're going to get to the workshop in a moment. I'm just having fun today. I started thinking, you better sell some more tennis shoes, dude. You better do that $3.99 pre-sale for them tennis shoes with them. Those are some ugly gold Trump tennis shoes. Seriously. You might need to sell some more of that Victory 47 perfume and cologne, Buttercup. Look, you're going to have to sell some stuff. And don't forget, you got 54 million that you got to cough up. Y'all, his total number due so far, including E. Jean Carroll, is over $600 million. Look, I don't know how you're doing it. Let's see. Dr. Internet said, is someone talking about grilling him? I wish they would. Kim Edmondson says, Trump campaign budget is probably in the red at this point with all the lawsuits. You got that right. What's up, Mariette? She said, good morning, News in Motion family and Gail. I'm glad you enjoyed your listen. I enjoyed every bit of. I was sick most of the time, but I still enjoyed it. Yes, I did. So, y'all, these are the questions we have to ask. Okay, and don't sleep on this. Don't sleep on this. All of this is connected to all the money we were talking about last Thursday at the town hall meeting, and you do not want to miss the town hall meeting tomorrow on News in Motion. Y'all better be on here at 7:25 a.m. It's going to be on and popping with the newly elect pastor of Union Grove Baptist Church in Columbus, Ohio, Pastor Derek Holmes. Y'all, we're going to continue that conversation. And when I told y'all $7 trillion last Thursday, that number is up about another $5 trillion, and we want to break down all this money is coming from because it is rolling up in here today. All right, so I want to talk about how to write a bill. And as I'm doing that, Isaiah, I don't see. I gotta hold on, y'all. I think I found it. There we go. How to write a bill. How to write a bill. Stephanie Hall said, yes, follow the money, people. Follow the money. Follow it. So we talked about how to read a bill a few weeks ago. Today, we're going to talk about how to write this bad boy. Okay. So when you're looking at reading it, we broke down all the aspects of reading it 2 weeks ago. And again, you can go back to just go to a Wednesday, not last Wednesday, but the Wednesday before, and you will see the workshop there. The reason I'm really stressing how to write a legislative bill, y'all, is because together with News in Motion, I want us to do this. And I want us to submit it for consideration on the actual floor, okay? Now, see, there you go, Dr. Antoinette. She said nobody wants a scent of a loser cologne. Well, there's that. And I don't know why it's called victory. For I guess victory. He thinks he's going to win and become the 47th president. That just hit me. Okay, so I was a little slow there, but it's so important to understand this. And when you see things out there that's connected to an article, y'all read the bill. At least read the first 3 or 4 pages. And we've been posting them in the Friday Rundown. If you are not a subscriber to our e-newsletter, the Friday Rundown, please do so. You can go to www.gaildudley.com. And right when you go to the homepage, a pop-up box will come up. Just complete that. It's free. It's every Friday. We put links in there for everything. We did not include this link this last week for all the primary dates because I thought we just had way too many on there, but y'all had some serious, straight up great content. And if you receive it, please let us know if y'all like that new format. We wanted to make sure you had the links readily available and right there. But we're putting all this information in there. This Friday, all of this information will be there. So the 2 presentations will be in there so that you will have this information on hand. So like the one bill I sent you all this past Friday, it had 388 pages. I know you're not reading all that. That's what I'm here for. That's what I do. And I break it down and I give it to you. But I encourage you, read the first 2, 3, 4 pages. Okay. So we want to look at what we're reading and why we're reading it. And you can best do that when you are writing it. Thanks, Isaiah, for putting up the website. So first off, you have forms of legislation, okay? And I had to print all this out because I know when you like stop being able to see real well, you gotta like print it out. So literally, y'all, I printed it out real big so I can see it so I can go through it with y'all. So you have the form of legislation. So you have bill, you have joint resolution, concurrent resolution, or simple resolution. And for our case, when we submit one, it's going to be simple, okay? Then passage required by, and it has to be by both houses, and that's for all of them, except for the simple resolution, it has to be by one house. Presentment to president, bill, yes. A joint, yes, except for a proposal. Concurrent resolution, no. Simple resolution, no. So right now, you know, the whole border piece, they're waiting for something to be agreed upon on the House side. The Senate has passed it. The House says it's dead on arrival. So right now, President Biden could write an executive order on that if he chooses to. But if you read that bill, y'all, that's a fascinating bill. I'm not going to put it in this week because it's got too much stuff in there in the Friday Rundown. I may put a link in there so you can find it yourself. But if you read that bill, it's big. It's big. It's an airtight bill. It's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. Yvonne Gardner says, I love the Friday Rundown. Very informative. And that's what we try to do. That's who we are. That's what we try to do. And then the result, the law, and then you can read through that. And this will all be in the Friday Rundown. And then the example. I give some examples here of some of the different resolutions and what they look like in some of the bills in the example. So how federal statutes are organized. So when you see a bill, you're going to automatically see the public laws, the statutes at large, and the United States codes. Everything will have a code. So even when you are going into the ballot box and you have a code, you have a number, understand what that number means and make sure that number aligns with the number you have been seeing on your vote card, on your ballot card. Sometimes those numbers are not the same. So where we just skip over stuff, it's like, no, read this to get an understanding of what it is. And if you don't want to read it, find you a news source, whether it's a video, a podcast, or an article, that you trust and follow that along. There's so much information when it comes to that code. You'd be amazed. That's why when I say stuff like HR, House Resolution 398, know what that 398 means. Where did it come from? Is that 398 times that it's been on the floor? Have they revised it? What are they doing with this? So look at those codes, look at those numbers. And then you have the positive versus non-positive law titles of the U.S. Code. Again, those numbers are extremely important so that when you're writing one, you have to formalize that number so that it is aligning with what has already been written. So you have to do your due diligence, you have to do your research. And then working with provisions that are not part of the positive law titles of the U.S. codes. So again, U.S. codes, U.S. codes, U.S. codes, U.S. codes. But before you can get to any of that, as you're coming up with your U.S. codes, first things first, the first step in writing any good bill is to find a topic. So I'm just curious here on News in Motion, what would be a topic you all want to write about? Yeah, we really are going to write a bill. We talked about it last year. We're really going to do it. Latrice Jones, are you still on here? Because Latrice Jones is going to help us format this thing. So first thing first, what's a good bill topic? What do you want to talk about? And yes, you may want to say, let's talk about voting rights, but there's enough bills out there on voting rights. So what's another angle for that? You may say you want to talk about school meals. Okay, there's a lot of bills out there for that. So what's a different angle for that? Maybe you want to write a topic about option trading. Hello, somebody. But there's a lot of stuff out there already. So what's another angle for that? So you have your broad topic, but then you have to narrow it down to what aren't we talking about? Let's get to the root of why there is voter suppression in the marginalized communities, and what are the demographics of those marginalized communities. Or infant mortality. Why is there infant mortality? Or when we talk about women who are having babies, the mortality of Black women's health. Maybe we want to zone in on that. Maybe we want to zone in on pastoring. I don't know, but what is that topic and how we get it down? So what is that title? Latrice Jones said, let's go, y'all. I'm all into this. I love this stuff. If y'all haven't noticed that by now, I absolutely live for this. I woke up this morning like, yes, let's go. So header information, y'all, this is all important. The first part of the bill is the header information. Y'all, this information doesn't make the law. It doesn't. This is just the header. This is the eye catcher. This is what brings people into the table. Now, y'all, it's extremely important, but most of this is standard language. We're going to get to that in a moment. We really talked about this when we were reading the bill 2 weeks ago. And then to begin, you will only need to fill in 2 blanks, your name and the title of your bill. So this is the person who is sponsoring the bill. Okay, let's go back. Let's do a quick review, if you will. When you have a sponsor of the bill, you're trying to get co-sponsors. So that's when the whip comes in and whips up co-sponsors. What's a whip, y'all? Put that in the chat. Somebody put that in the chat. I'm giving away the vote t-shirts like crazy. So the first person who puts in the chat about who a whip is and what they do, you get the new signature News in Motion vote t-shirt. Lori Williams says, your whole face lights up talking about this stuff. Listen, I live for it. I do. When I hear somebody saying something wrong, I'm like, that ain't right. And I have to remind myself. My husband tells me, can you fix your face? And I'm like, okay, I'm trying to fix my face. Because I'm sitting there like, that's a lie. That's how stuff gets started, because you're not speaking the truth, because you don't know what you're talking about. So yes, I do get excited. But you put in your name and the title of the bill, and then you have a whip whipping up the votes and co-sponsors. Again, the first person that tells me what a whip is doing, what their job is, you will get one of our signature t-shirts. You have to DM me your size once we announce the winner. Remember, as Isaiah and I say all the time, it's how we see it on our end, because we have all the comments coming from all the different platforms in one thing. So the first one that comes in, we will identify you there. And then the rest of the blanks will be filled in by the presiding officer. And that is usually whoever is designated as a secretary or so forth. So when we talk about Evander preventing financial institutions from discriminating. Yeah, but there's more to it. Give me more of the whip. Thank you, Evander. Give me more of the whip. I love y'all are up in here today. So organizing the bill, you're going to have sections, okay? So you're probably wondering, why are those dots on the side, or why those numbers on the side? Every line has a number. You have to. And the indentation, the way it's indented is just as important. So section one is the first section, and SCC for subsequent sections followed by a number. What Master used. Okay, Evander. And then we have subsection, lowercase letters, paragraph, subparagraph, uppercase letters, the clause, lowercase letters, and the subclause, uppercase letters. So all of that All of that is important to that bill. All of it is important to that bill. I know you're kidding. Good to have you on here. Stephanie says, pressure to extent rank and file members. Go ahead, Stephanie Burbridge Hall. You get a t-shirt. I need your size. You get the new signature vote t-shirt. I need the size. And then uppercase. So y'all, all of these things have to be followed to a T. Okay, and yes, I'm flying through this. And yes, I get people sending me emails saying, why are you teaching this free on your show when we charge people for stuff like this? Because I want you all to be equipped. That is my goal. That is my rule. I want us to be educated voters to understand what we are voting for and why we are voting for. In bills, there's always a lot of pork. He says, oh, this is Mike, by the way. Oh, this is, I should have said Evander. I should have known that was you. Okay, so yeah, we have to follow it that way, okay? That's all important. That's all important. That's all important. But what's most important, that's just the layout. What's most important is the enactment clause. Hello, somebody. Y'all, please understand the enactment clause. When you're reading it, when you're writing it, understand this clause and what it means and why. Each bill must have an enactment clause, all right, y'all? This tells the fellow Congress people when your bill will take effect if passed. So you can't write a bill and think it's going to go in effect tomorrow. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. So you normally have to have, thank you, Dr. Kim Carter. She says, thanks for teaching, sis. Love the Wednesday workshop and wisdom. This is rich information that's worth so much. And we're grateful you're investing in us. I love you. And that is my goal, y'all. I was talking to Dr. Nathan Harris. Y'all remember we had him on the program, I think 2 years ago, with his nonprofit called See Brilliance. And it's a whole STEM piece. And I sent some pictures where I went to his summer enrichment program with all these young kids, and COSI, the Center of Science Institute here in Columbus, Ohio, was a partner. Fantastic. He sent me an inbox message and said, I love that you will not let up on teaching us what we need to know so that we are educated voters. He said he thought he knew a lot about voting. He said, and after hearing me, he did not. So we got to keep going with this, y'all. I will not give up. And it is my goal to invest in you all. It is my goal. So y'all, you have to say when this is going to take effect. If y'all remember past bills I've shared with you all, it'll say it'll start in January 2025. It'll start in June 2024. There's always at least 90 days, but in most cases it's 120 days before a law has been passed, before it takes effect. The bill will always have to start with an enactment clause, be it enacted by the Senate and the House of Representatives of the United States and Congress assembled. That's why, going back to this first sheet, the first slide, the different things. Who are they? Bill, joint resolution, concurrent resolution, simple resolution, passage, both houses, one house when it gets to the simple resolution. So you have to pay attention to those things. I have a lot of slides, y'all. We're not going to get through all this. The first section is normally the short title. Again, you got to come up with your title of what it is and what it looks like. But y'all, here's something else we got to know. We went over this a little bit when we were reading the bill. Terminology, the definitions. Y'all, some terms in the bills may need to be defined. What does this mean? If y'all remember 2 weeks ago, I was talking about encourage, may, can, must, the little words that have a lot of power behind them. Understand the terminology when you're writing your bills. How do you want to format this? When do you want to use the word encourage? When do you want to use the word can? When you want to use the word must? When you want to use the word may? All those words are very important, although they are very small. Some terms in the bill needs to be defined. This section is to make your bill clear and understandable. However, you may not need to define any. And that only really happens when you're dealing with a simple resolution. You may not need to define any of them there. And then each term that you are defining will be its own subsection. So you have to subsect that. Let me go back to there. Where is it? That's how this lays out this way. And it actually goes down, goes diagonal that way as well. So that's all important. But when we sit down to write them, Latrice Jones, we can put it all together. All right, y'all. Then we have section 3. Section 3 is actual law making part of the bill. This is where you're going to put your law. Okay, this is where you're going to put the law. This is where you say what the bill is going to do. Y'all, this has to be laid out so clearly. This bill is going to do X. Go back to all the critical thinking things that we've been discussing here over the past 6-7 months. Well, since September. We've got to go back to the whole critical thinking. I've been doing that intentionally because we were building up to writing a bill and reading a bill, because this is where we want to go. Okay, we want to have an understanding. So what exactly will this bill do? Go back to the bill I read last week, y'all, from the guy from Tennessee, Mr. Green. Was that his name? Where we're like, well, who's Mr. Green? And where did this come from? And why is he doing all these resolutions? That was in the Friday rundown. And if you missed it, go back and read it if you didn't delete it already, because that had a lot of information in there, and it said exactly what they were going to do when we were talking about the impeachment of the Homeland Security Secretary. Y'all remember, the first vote did not pass. The second vote did pass to impeach the Homeland Security Secretary, although the Senate will never even take that up. So he's good. But listen, did y'all read that? All those changes in there, they were saying exactly what they were going to do step by step. There's a lot hidden in bills. Why is it hidden? Especially for people that looks like me. It's hidden that way because they don't think we're going to read it in the first place. And we will hear the commercials. We will hear the sound bites. We won't even go to the town hall meetings. We will take the words of what somebody else had to say based upon their interpretation, and then we vote for a bill. And then we're like, well, did I vote for that? Yes, you did. And it's your responsibility to do the due diligence to understand what's in there in the first place, okay? And then this will take may take multiple sections, okay? Yes, Mariette. Yes, listen, Mariette. Yeah, So y'all, a bill should be written so that each individual thing the bill is doing will be in its own section. So every section, and then you have that diagonal line that's coming from that section. Y'all, if there is a bullet point underneath that diagonal line, don't skip over it. Don't just take the top part. You better read everything they're putting up underneath there. That's where they hide things. That's where they put the pork that we pay for. So then structuring the content, general rules, state the main message, exceptions, describe the person or thing to which the main message does not apply. Remember, go back to, I think it was House Resolution, or was it Joint Resolution 398. Go back to that. Go back to that. Remember how they were trying to exclude things, and they were excluding everything that was going to work for them. That was out of Florida, y'all. That was out of Florida, where they were saying that we can't say stuff like racist and calling people names and all that kind of stuff. Y'all notice that got real quiet, right? It hasn't gone anywhere. It hasn't gone anywhere. Too many people were talking about it, so they had to pull back on it. They'll put it back out there. Keep paying attention to that. So they were excluding certain people. They were protecting their people, but other people were not included in that. So you got to pay attention to that. All the special rules describe the person or things to which the main message applies. The transitional rules, how they're going to transition this. And the best way I can use this example is a transition from one president to another, although it didn't happen this last time, but one president to another, the transitional rules. What does that look like and how we're going to transition that? Other provisions and definitions. So you have all of that that's included as well. And then effective date, you need to have that date. That date is very important. So this is what a sample of a bill would look like. And again, this is going to be in all the information that I send you on Friday for the Friday rundown. So if you don't have it, you want to go ahead and sign up. But it tells you, like, as an example, 118th Congress, the second session, you got to put the session on there. And that's where you put your title, your date, your name, and then if there's any co-sponsors, and then the bill, what the bill is going to do. And then you have your sections. Now, this one isn't diagonal because they don't have that many subsections, but we will have some. I don't know if that's in there or not. No, there's none in this one, but we will have some that will be subsections there. You can go up to 20, and notice how every line has something. Every number has something. So every line has a number. Every number has a line. That is important. It is important. And then just for the heck of it, I had News in Motion Congress 2024, and we're going to do our own, and we're going to see how we can submit it and get it out there so that people can hear it. All right, y'all, citations. Let me give you the citations, how I pulled all this together. This is not all Gail Dudley's information. I can talk about it because I know it, but I had to go find all the resources to put it out here. So the House Office of Legislative Counsel, that's where I went to grab this information and talk to people. Library of Congress. Yeah, they are some really friendly, great people. Center for Progressive Leadership. That's the program that I went through and graduated from. It was a 9-month program. General Joshua's iGovernor. That's a summer program that's off the chain if you have young people who want to go through. And of course, me, Gail Dudley, News in Motion. But I wanted to share with you this General Assembly of North Carolina session. So if you look at this, you're like, what is going on here? So all of theirs, their font is different, the sections are different, everything is different. And this has been halted because there needs to be changes to the way this bill is drafted and put out there. So I wanted to show you that. I have other stuff, but I'm not going to show you that today. So participate in a News in Motion webinar. So we're going to do a whole webinar where we're going to teach this, whether it's students or whomever, and then we're going to put together a bill. Now, we're going to have to pay for the people who's going to do the instruction, okay? So the date is to be announced. Right now, we just want to know if you're interested. If you're interested, email News in Motion, okay? If you're interested, email News in Motion, and the banner is running down at the bottom, but it's newsinmotionwithgail@gmail.com. If you're interested. So this way we know if we want to move forward with it or not. So if you're interested, please, 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 please email us. And we're going to write this bill. Latrice Jones is going to write this bill. All right, so that's everything I wanted to share with that, but I want to get to the inspirational message. But I'm just curious, is that the type of information you all want to continue to see here on News in Motion? Let us know. Let us know if that's information you would like to see continue right here on News in Motion. Let us know. I love it. I absolutely love it. So inspirational message. I started out this broadcast talking about just really hearing from God and moving as God is calling us to move, whatever that looks like, hearing from him and moving, living in that freedom that we have in him. So the only way I could do this today, Kim Edmonds said, yes, this was amazing. Marion says, absolutely. Yay. Okay. The only inspirational message I have for you today is to read Psalm 27 directly out of the New Living Translation. It says, the Lord is my light and my salvation, so why should I be afraid? The Lord is a fortress protecting me from danger, so why should I tremble? When evil people come to devour me, when the enemies and foes attack me, they will stumble and fall. Though a mighty army surrounds me, my heart will not be afraid. Even if I am attacked, I will remain confident. I hope y'all are hearing these words here. And again, this is out of the New Living Translation. The one thing I ask of the Lord, the thing I seek most, is to live in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, delighting in the Lord's perfections and meditating in his temple. For he will conceal me there when trouble comes. He will hide me in his sanctuary. He will place me out of reach on a high rock. Then I will hold my head high above my enemies who surround me. At his sanctuary, I will offer sacrifices with shouts of joy, singing and praising the Lord with music. Hear me as I pray, O Lord. Be merciful and answer me. My heart has heard you say, come and talk with me. And my heart responds, Lord, I am coming. Do not turn your back on me. Do not reject your servant in anger. You have always been my helper. Don't leave me now. Don't abandon me, O God of my salvation. Even if my father and mother abandon me, the Lord will hold me close. Teach me how to live, O God. Lead me along the right path, for my enemies are waiting for me. Do not let me fall into their hands, for they accuse me of things I've never done. With every breath, they threaten me with violence. Yet I am confident I will see the Lord's goodness while I am here in the land of the living. Wait patiently for the Lord. Be brave and courageous. Yes, wait patiently for the Lord. again, when I was just in my time of quietness, and I came on to News and Motion, just sharing with you our freedom and getting beyond what people are saying and not being afraid to do what you've been called to do and go forward with it with everything that you have. It's this Psalm 27 came to me. Psalm 27 came to me because it's like, this is the life we need to lead. And I just want to go over the first few verses again. The Lord is my light and my salvation. So why should I be afraid? There's nothing to be afraid of. Nothing, because he is the light of my salvation. The Lord is my fortress, protecting me from danger. So why should I tremble? Why should I shake? Why should I be anxious? Why should I be intimidated? Why you feel that in? There's no need to do that. When evil people come to devour me, when my enemies and foe attack me, I won't stumble and fall. They will stumble and fall. Though a mighty army surround me, my heart will not be afraid. Even if I am attacked, I will remain confident. Y'all, there's so much. Again, that's a New Living Translation. There's so much in there. And I want us so bad to get to that place in life where we won't be shaken by the thought of what somebody else may be thinking about us, by wondering if we're doing the right thing. If God told you to do it, trust me, it is the right thing. It is the right thing. It may not make sense to anybody else. Like, well, I don't know why you're doing that. Well, it's not for you to know why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because of me. But here's the other part. Stop explaining yourself to people. That's what really gets us in trouble. We start explaining ourselves, and then we have to keep explaining ourselves, and then we have to go back and repeat the things that we've explained to somebody else. We don't have to do that. Y'all, we don't have to be afraid. We don't. Go after it. A friend of mine was sharing something with me about this past Sunday, and I was excited about it, and I signed up about it. And then I sat there, and God was like, "Why are you doing that?" And I said, "I don't know." And he was like, "Well, you could really learn from your friend what she learned, right? Because that ain't for you today." And I had to go, you know what, God, you right. It's like, why was I doing that? I wanted to support my friend. I wanted to encourage my friend. I wanted to take this journey alongside my friend, but that wasn't for me. I can still be that excited about my friend to keep doing it the way I'm doing it without having to participate in it. But y'all, we have this expectation, this mindset that we have to be doing certain things that we don't have to be doing. We don't. So even let me tie in voting. And y'all, by the way, the book, oh my God, the book is off the chain. I can't wait till y'all get y'all's hands on it. I can't wait. I'm just waiting for them to ship it to my house so I can ship it out to all of you. But even with that, when it failed the first time, and I need to stop saying it failed. It didn't fail. It was that my editor's house was in Fort Myer and her home was destroyed from the hurricane and we lost everything. So we had to build it back. But for a moment, just for a moment, I was like, man, this is embarrassing. I did pre-orders. The book is out here. I told everybody it's going to be shipping October 2022. And I was like, this did not happen. I had to get over myself. And when I compare, even the editor was like, that first book, it was cute, but this book is about to change lives. Y'all, I have never been this excited about a book that I've written in my life. This is book number 15. You would think that this is my very first book. I had so many people say, just throw it away. Just get rid of it. Don't do it. Don't move on it. Forget all about the word inspire. When that person said that to me, the word inspire stuck with me. Well, I tell people all the time, make bold moves. I tell people all the time, I'm here to inspire you. I can't throw this book away. I believe, as Kathy Curtis, my editor, said to me, this book is going to change lives one by one. One by one. The reason I had so much resistance is because this book is unbelievable. My representative at Ingram Printing, Ingram is the base that prints all the books that goes out to Barnes & Noble, Target, Walgreens, wherever, Books A Million, wherever. She called me. Now, all she does like to make sure the setup and everything. She says, for some reason, I read this book. I said, did you pay for it? I was playing with her. We laughed. She says, I can't tell you. I'm telling everybody in here that they got to read this book. Y'all, that's what this book is already doing. And I don't even have the box at my house yet. But just think if I would have just canceled it, if I would have stopped because of embarrassment that this did not go out as originally discussed. Can you imagine that that people would have been waiting to be inspired for such a time as this, and I pulled the plug on it? Y'all, we got to get over ourselves. We have to get over ourselves. So keeping up with Lent and praying, intentionally praying. Um, y'all know I've been targeting the White House. This time I want to pray for the RNC convention. So I want us to think about the RNC convention today and just pray that people would be transparent, that people will be delivered from the spin, that people will speak the truth to power and truth and love, that people will not be afraid to go against maybe this person they consider a giant, that they will stand up. So let's draw a circle around them. Y'all know I've been doing the 40-day prayer challenge, draw the circle. So let's draw circles around them. If you happen to know their names, call their names. If not, just say the RNC chair and the committees and the convention and the treasurers and the secretaries and the advocates, everyone that's a part of that. Let's pray for them. And I still believe that the power of praying for one person can change this entire world. All right, y'all, that's all I have for today. I am your host, Gail Dudley. This has been fun. It's just been fun. I know y'all think I'm crazy sometimes, and I probably am crazy, but I love being crazy. I'm crazy for Jesus. That's number one. So y'all have a great day. Make some bold moves, and remember to stay well. Make sure you stay well, y'all. And again, make some bold moves. We're out.
News in motion.